Aloha, my name is Jennifer O'Neil.
And I'm Michelle Snyder.
Welcome to the That's Not Normal podcast, where we unpack the mysteries you were told not to believe in. Hi, welcome back. And today we are going to talk about navigating different dimensional spaces. I do feel like that this is a good subject to cover because a lot of people are very stuck in 3D belief system, 3D thinking. And our physical bodies are built upon this system. They're built upon uh, what would be survival, I guess, in the 3D world. Then we have our spiritual bodies that are supposed to work with expansion. This is why we have these spiritual bodies, energetic bodies, and we have merged them together to make your reality. Your reality is based upon your survival suit, your survival body, and then your expansive essence, the essence of who you are, which is your soul and your soul's frequency. And when you then create your life and your reality, some odd things start to happen. You start to navigate things from one aspect in your 3D realm, and you are trained to see things in a very 3D perspective. And I do feel like this causes a lot of people to be extremely out of balance because there are different dimensional realities and different dimensions that you have access to all the time with in every day, but you haven't been taught about them a lot of times. Therefore, your ability to tune into them might feel very distant. And so you might get glimpses of that. Say law of attraction stuff. When you're learning to do visualizations, you might get them during meditative states, dream states, and things like that, where you see glimpses of these other dimensional realities. One of the things that I think that people don't really understand is they layer. So with our spiritual bodies and the essence of who we are, having a physical experience or a survival experience, we have the ability to see through multidimensional layers within our physical body. And we have the ability to gain access from these multidimensional layers. And it might be one layer, it might be two, might be three, it might be, several at one time. And the difference between seeing them and not seeing them is going to matter with your belief system, would be the biggest one to start with. The awareness and knowledge, these things really can help you to learn how to see multidimensionally. And I do feel like that that's very important to gain balance with not just the whole of who you are, but your physical body needs to also maintain balance with multidimensional realities, meaning there has to be a place that it can receive information from that is a higher frequency based knowledge. If you continue to feed the physical body knowledge based upon physical reality, it's not gaining everything it needs to heal and do what it needs to do. Even if we just remove the healing aspect out of it, your reality is created by multidimensional thinking. And this is something that you can do with knowledge and without knowledge, but you do it better with knowledge. Multidimensional thinking and navigating multidimensional realities will start with your emotional state. And it will start again with the belief system, the emotional state in that realm, in that area. And most people, I'm noticing, they're in survival mode. They are navigating through life like they are literally trying to survive it. They're not navigating life from a point of what could happen next? What can I create? What can I build? What can I experience? They're going, how do I pay my light bill? How do I make my car payment? How do I make sure money's continuing to flow in? And I think that the longer that you continue to do that, you're going to really ground and solidify your 3D belief system and live in a very physical reality that maybe doesn't feel so good for you.
Is
That makes
that
sense.
just a low vibration that's just keeping you stuck in the 3D? Like,
What do you mean?
um, great question. I feel like if you are in that kind of fear space,
Mhm.
where you're trying to figure out everything, and so you're taking on that lower vibration of like, I'm trying to do life, and I've got to figure out life, and life is hard, blah blah blah. That you don't have the room or capacity to start thinking beyond just your 3D space.
Well, I think that that would be the best place to have the capacity to think beyond, because if you're really suffering in survival mode, this is where a lot of faith-based thinking can come in, and why that you might notice that some people, um, who have a very strong religious faith might get themselves through in those ways, because when you are really struggling, sometimes you have to believe in something greater than you know in order to make it through. And what happens when you believe in something greater than you know is you release resistance. You go,
Mhm.
take over. I give up. I don't know how to navigate this. I need some relief. Help me. And you really let things go. And then now we're working with another multidimensional reality. We're working with the universal laws, the laws of cause and effect, the laws of, resistance, the laws of allowing. We're working with all of these different laws that then start to move and conceptualize your space differently. It starts to navigate a better reality for you. But there has to be that aspect of, I give up, I'm letting go to you, help me move this, because we cannot micromanage multidimensional reality energy. It doesn't work like that. You can't force it into being. You have to learn to allow things into being. And that comes with knowledge and expansion. And knowledge and expansion usually comes when we've hit a rock bottom point, or a place where we're just like, I can't continue this system anymore, or this job, or this relationship, or whatever. People start to navigate outside of their wheelhouse and go, how can I do this differently? And that's typically when awareness and knowledge will come in, if you're searching for it. Then you can tune into other aspects of who you are, and that will tune into the multidimensional realities that then can feed information to you, as long as you are open to it. So the first step, if you're really struggling, would be to look for something. If you don't have any faith-based situation going on, look for knowledge and start to read things, get more familiar with multidimensional realities and how they work. I wrote the whole book on universal laws that was is incredibly helpful for people trying to learn how the other dimensions work and how the energy flows and how that works. So it's expanding your knowledge beyond your visual capabilities, is truthfully all it's doing. And your visual capabilities are very limited,
Yeah.
but all knowledge is based on visuals. It's, history and teaching, it's all based on these visual concepts. And that's such a small portion of working within all the layers of dimensional realities, that it really hand ties your ability to change your life and what you're going to do, and what you want to accomplish, and tuning into your higher frequency and your higher self and all of those points. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think so. A lot of times, and this, I don't know if I'm veering off topic, but a lot of times I will just like question reality. I'm just like, this is all just an illusion. None of this is real. Like
Yeah.
I do that. I kind of play with that a little bit. I mean, it's a really good illusion. I mean,
It's a visual illusion, and it's true.
yeah, I'm just like,
But
none of this
all
is real.
things that you're visually seeing start from an energetic base. It starts from another dimensional space. So before it comes into the physical space, it starts in another dimensional reality that intertwines and is layered with our physical space. And that's where things are formed. And that's where people try really hard to work with manifestation and visualization and all of that, which is great. But people try to work with thinking things into being instead of navigating energy from the heart center and navigating energy from the emotional aspect of who you are. Your emotions are you being able to read frequency. So when you read a lower frequency, your body has an emotional response that doesn't feel well. When you are reading a higher frequency, your body has an emotional response that feels good. So your emotions are basically a frequency reader, an indicator of what you're experiencing or navigating at that point. And you can actually train your brain to have um, very programmed emotional responses. And that's where we have to learn to take control back. That's where we have to learn to rework the brain's knowledge and the synapses of the brain so that it is not just going out and triggering all these emotions quickly before we can even sort through what we're receiving, what we're feeling, and what we're noticing. So that's also another important aspect. But being able to know that your emotions you want to observe more. You shouldn't just be having emotional reactions to everything. You want to take a moment to go, why is this affecting me this way? How is it triggering anything? Is it triggering something from far back? Is it triggering something from recent? How would I like to navigate this? How can I see this differently? When you get into the part where how can I see this differently, then we're starting to reprogram the brain. Now we're starting to work within the synapses and the programming to now change the outcome. And we can do a lot with that. But it is understanding why you want to pay more attention to your emotional state. Now, if you wake up and you're not feeling real great or you're feeling anxiety or emotional, the first things you that I would ask myself is this attached to anything that I can think of? And you want to do it quickly because the minute that your brain gets wind of this, it's going to look for somewhere to put it.
Mm.
So if you're feeling anxious or whatever, it could be the energy. It could be um, maybe just you coming out of a sleep or whatever. But the brain is going to want to put it in a category. So that's the first thing it does. That's if you wake up that way, right? So then throughout the day, as you're navigate, if you're having emotional responses like, I don't know, I'm just having a bad day. Well, what happened? Well, nothing really. I just woke up kind of in a bad mood and I just feel like this, maybe I'm not so happy today, or like I feel like I'm stuck, or I feel frustrated. Was there anything that led to that? This is where you really want to just be aware of your emotional responses. Was there anything that fed into that in that day? Well, no, not really. Okay, well, if nothing fed into that, we want to be very aware of the energy of the collective energy on earth. We want to be very aware. And I don't mean aware, go look at it on the news or anything. I just mean understand that there's probably a wave of it going around. Understanding that our planetary alignment is probably causing some past issues to potentially resurface, or maybe you're revisiting some stuff, or maybe it's just causing your frequency to be a little off or attuned into something else. If you know what it's attached to, then that's the time to go, what's my perspective on this? Because I don't care what it is, figure out how to rework it so that you're not having a negative emotional response. You want to rework it so that we're having a feel good moment, or we're having an aha, oh, light bulb clicked there. This is why this is happening. We want to get to that space because now within the multidimensional reality, we're now tuned into a higher frequency, which then is going to allow things to work out better. We're in a river of positivity that could be 37 different outcomes, 370 different outcomes. We want to be on a higher frequency um, realm and vibe, whatever you want to call it. We want to be connecting with that aspect. And that's why you want to rework your perspective and say, how do I shift my perspective? How do I rework this?
Yeah. I
Does
have
that
a
make
weird
sense?
question.
Is it really weird?
Is a different frequency, there's a whole spectrum there, right?
Mhm.
Is each one of them a different dimension?
Not every single frequency is a different dimension, but I would say there is lower frequencies that hang out in one layered dimension, and seen the higher frequencies hang out in another dimension. So there could be some dividing within there, but it's not going to be like every single frequency might have a different um, dimensional space.
Because I'm also thinking of like parallel lives as dimension. You know, when you talk about Akashic records and how
Mhm,
you have so many different branches that you could jump to, like
mhm.
depending on a decision or a free will or
Yep.
whatever it is. And I would assume that that could be like also related to frequency, right? Of like jumping to different situations of like if you're in a lower
Oh,
frequency.
100% because you would potentially be like, say you made a choice that still makes you not feel so good and you're going to stay in this dimensional reality, but then let's say in another version of you you're like, okay, no, I'm going to make a change. I know it's scary, but I want to do XYZ. Now you've layered into a whole different dimensional reality, and now your dimensional reality, you're going to navigate from that space. So yes, they can relate, and you can move different dimensional realities within your akashic records.
I was gonna
That's
say
how they're
from
set up.
moment to moment, are we always just jumping to just different dimensions?
Well, no, not necessarily because you're typically on a frequency for a while. You know, your mood, your happiness, your moment of feeling down, that's not usually a moment to moment exchange, right?
Yeah,
And you
yeah,
have to
true, but
remember that the dimensional frequencies are aligned with your emotional state and how you're feeling. So think of it more like this. I was really happy for like 3 days straight. So you're hanging out in this dimensional reality. And then you're like, oh my gosh, I had a moment where for 2 hours everything was just horrible and I was so upset. So now you might move dimensional realities for those 2 hours. And then you're like, but I got back on track. I recognized what it was. I reworked my mindset. Okay, now we're back into the other dimensional reality, another frequency, another place. Do you see what I'm saying?
yeah, I don't think people just really think about that ever. I don't because
Ever.
we don't
No,
ever
they
get
don't.
told or
Hence
taught.
the that's not normal and that's not normal podcast subject
We're just constantly surfing different waves of
of reality.
dimension.
And I love that aspect because the more you pay attention to it, the more you learn to navigate it. And the more you learn to navigate it, you're like, whoa, there is so much more to my life than I ever thought was possible. There is so much more to how my current reality has came to be that it blows my mind. Like the expansiveness, the ability to achieve all these things, the
Like
ability.
unlimited potential.
It's so crazy. Like, I mean, I was just talking to somebody the other day, and I think I actually talked to you about this too. There's been things that I have been working on, kind of trying to emotionally build in my reality for a year. And it's just like everything, every single one of those things done, 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 and done. This is the dimensional reality I'm living in now. And it's sort of mind blowing because I'm like, how did all of those things fall into alignment at one time? But during that time, I worked really hard with the balance aspect, which is what I was talking about at the beginning, where I knew that I wasn't having the best balance with the physical body and the spiritual body. Even though I'm very aware of it, I needed to do a better job of maintaining proper balance with the physical aspect of me. I don't have the trouble with the spiritual aspect. So I have the opposite problem of a lot of people. And so I worked really hard on integrating that into my dimensional reality and really working with the energetic flow of my physical body and integrating that with what I was already doing well. And everything just started falling into place like dominoes. So there's a way to bring balance and merge those things, but you need to be paying very close attention to yourself and your life and your
Yeah.
balance, your emotional state, your visions, your reality. It's all you. It all hinges upon you. It's not hinging upon other people's decisions. It's hinging upon your birth chart. It's hinging apart on the relationships that you wrote in there, the catalyst that you decided that you wanted to experience and discover, how that you're utilizing your free will. How open are you being to exploring alternate realities and alternate versions of your life? I'm going to make a change. That is exploring a different dimensional reality of your life.
And it's
And
incredible how how quick it can happen. Because I woke up
yeah,
today. There's a new idea that I'm really
mhm,
excited about. I'm not going to share it, but I just feel so different today. Like
yes,
I feel amazing, and I feel so much excitement about what I could create
right. And
that I
doesn't now think about it this way. Don't you feel like you've tuned into a different dimensional reality of your life?
100%.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're like, "Whoa, yep, I like this. This feels good to me." But it's being open and aware of, I want to tune into a different dimensional reality. And I can tell you a very simple trick before we go. Even if you don't believe in this quite yet and you don't really understand how to make those shifts, one of the things that I did in a very earlier age is I'd be like, no, I'm going to pretend like I'm living in another reality and I'm going to make up that reality in my head. And this is what it's going to look like. And every day I'd be like, I'm going to pretend like I'm going to wake up and I'm going to be in this version, this reality, this story. This is going to be my life. If I'm going to be able to switch dimensions, I'm going to try it like this. And I would just pretend or feel or envision or connect with, I want this to be my new dimensional reality tomorrow. And then I would try it again. And I started noticing that they started working out. Like these things that I was desiring, I would wake up and these things would start unfolding. And then when I started working on my balance with my physical aspect of who I was and integrating that with my spiritual aspect and really paying attention to my physical body and the physical energy flow and how that was working, then everything just bam, 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 right into place.
Yeah.
Yes. So, do you have anything more to add?
I don't know if I have anything more to add. I'm just excited to keep surfing into higher dimensions.
Yes, exactly. And you may stay there for a few days, you may stay there for a few weeks, and then you may decide to go on to another one that you even like more. And keep in mind that the aspect of this new dimensional reality that you are exploring can stay intact while you alter that even more.
Mm,
And then when you alter that, it might just be a brand new version, the 2.0 of this one that you're excited about now, right?
yeah, because I just feel like there's a lot of little things lately that have been like breadcrumbs
Mhm.
that have been leading me to a new idea, which I know could still be like just another breadcrumb to an even bigger idea or a
That's why
different
I'm saying
idea.
breadcrumb to a 2.0.
Yeah.
But it's your interest and your desire to be in another dimensional reality that feels good to you. I
Yeah.
just want people to realize your other dimensional realities are not like you're missing the one that you're in. Oh, geez, but I don't want to lose these aspects of my life. That's not how that works. You don't lose the aspects you love, because the aspects you love, that's within your emotional heart center, right? It's vibrating at a high frequency. So the aspects you love will repeat in another dimensional reality. They will still show up in the way that you love them because of the vibration that you're holding with it. We're just tweaking aspects that we don't like and shifting dimensional realities into another aspect of our life. That
Yeah.
makes sense. Hopefully that wasn't too confusing.
Well, if you have questions or you
Yes,
want to, ask more about the topic, I would say definitely leave those in the comments.
absolutely. All right. Until next time,
Yeah, if
uh,
you like the video today, please give the video a like and subscribe if you haven't already.
yes, and we will check the comments and we will see you soon.
Okay,
All right. Aloha. Bye.
bye.